With the trade deadline only a week away, the San Francisco 49ers seem destined to make a trade. They've been one of the more impressive teams on the year, but their unit has been absolutely decimated by injuries. In this most recent Texans game, for example, San Francisco's defensive line routinely struggled to put pressure on CJ Stroud after losing players like Bryce Huff, Nick Bosa, and most recently Samuel Okuanu to injuries. So in this video, we're going to explore some of the most likely trades San Francisco can pursue, not just at the defensive end position, but the linebacker group, as well as some other trades floated around. Initially to start though, we will be talking about defensive ends because this is where San Francisco desperately needs help. And the player that makes a lot of sense for this team is Robert Saleh's former first-round pick in Jermaine Johnson, who according to Bleacher Report right now is available for about a third-round pick. Not only is he a young player coming in at 26, so San Francisco isn't getting any older on their defensive line, he's also under contract through the 2026 season, so this fits Kyle Shanahan's desire to help in the short term as well as the long term. On top of that, he had his best season in Robert Saleh's defense back in the 2023 year, where he was able to register 7.5 sacks and an interception because Robert Saleh truly understands how to get the most out of his players. And for Johnson, he's a perfect fit for the wide 9 defensive front. He has an extremely fast first step which allows him to penetrate into the backfield on passing downs, and against the run, he's great at setting the edge. And because of his athleticism, he can do everything Robert Saleh wants him to do, whether that be run stunts or even drop into coverage. He comes in at 6'5", weighing 254 pounds, and ran his 40-yard dash in 4.58 seconds. With all these pauses being noted about Johnson's game, it is worth noting right now he is coming back from an Achilles tear, but if there's a coach that can get the most out of him, I would bet it's Robert Saleh. And with the Jets going absolutely nowhere and San Francisco's defensive line in need of desperate help, don't be surprised to see this trade happen, especially if they're able to get it done for a third-round pick, which may be best for both of these teams. Outside of Johnson, another trade option that makes a ton of sense for San Francisco is looking to acquire Jaelan Phillips from the Miami Dolphins. Like Johnson, he's a former first-round pick, but unlike Johnson, he'd only cost probably a 4th-round pick, maybe even cheaper due to his injury history. When you look at his last 2 seasons, for example, the 26-year-old defensive end had both of them cut short, one due to an Achilles tear and the other due to an ACL tear. On top of that, his contract is expired after this season, so unlike Johnson, he doesn't have the flexibility to really see what he has over the next 2 seasons. Still though, when he is healthy and on the field, he's been one of the more impressive young defensive ends across the National Football League. In just 5 years, for example, he's already registered 25 sacks, and this year, he's registered a pass rush win rate of 17.7% and generated 16 pressures, meaning he truly has been playing like an elite defensive end. And because the Dolphins aren't going anywhere this year and his contract expires after the season, it would be wise to make a trade. And what better team to trade him to than the 49ers? Not only are they out of the conference, but Mike McDaniel, the head coach, is familiar with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch. Meanwhile, if you're the 49ers and he doesn't offer much in return this year, it's not that big of a deal. You only gave up a 4th-round pick. But if you do hit on him and he is able to remain healthy, that could be huge for this team, not just for this year, but moving into the future. This move also doesn't stop San Francisco from acquiring another defensive end. They could pick up, let's say, Jaelan Phillips, and then go out and pick up another player like Arden Key from the Titans. And if you're the 49ers, this may be the best way to hedge your bets, because not only will you be getting a high upside player in Phillips, but with Key, for only a 6th-round pick, you'll get a player who had his best season under your coaching back during the 2021 season, where he was able to register 6.5 sacks, and over the last few years, he's been a reliable, consistent player for the Tennessee Titans. Outside of these mid to late round trades, San Francisco may also decide to trade an early round pick for a high quality defensive end, a player like Kayvon or even potentially Trey Hendrickson. Both of these deals though don't seem like the most likely deals, as San Francisco would be giving up a lot of capital to acquire one of these players. Kayvon, for instance, would probably cost at least Juan, Jennings and a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Meanwhile, Hendrickson, you probably would have to give up at least a first-round pick to acquire, and then immediately you have to give him a contract, which doesn't seem likely given San Francisco's current cap constraints. Much more likely, in my opinion, are the deals we discussed earlier in this video where San Francisco gives up a mid to late round pick for a defensive end where it's either a one-year rental or a multi-year rental based on how they perform. They could also potentially make two of these trades for players like Phillips and Johnson if they decided to go heavy at this position, which I personally think they should do. Outside of the defensive end group, San Francisco has also been linked to Quinnen Williams, the defensive tackle from the Jets, but in a similar way to Trey Hendrickson, this deal doesn't seem likely because San Francisco may have to give up a first-round pick as well as potentially a mid-round pick. Then after all of that, they probably would have to rework his deal as he only has $5 million in guarantees remaining on his contract, and right now he wants a lot more. And while he may be worth it, I don't think the 49ers are willing to go this route as they've been building their team behind youth and their draft picks. I mean, if they're able to pick up a player similar to him in the first round, then they're able to save a ton of cap space. Outside of the defensive line, San Francisco has also been linked to several linebackers including Logan Wilson and Christian Harris, both who would potentially cost a mid to late round pick to acquire. And while a trade like this does seem more likely with Dee Winters' injury, I still don't think San Francisco will be going this route as they'd probably rather get a defensive end or a defensive tackle to help out their pass rush, as they have younger players like Nick Martin who looked really promising during this preseason. But I would like to hear your thoughts about San Francisco potentially acquiring a linebacker. Would you like to see them do it, or like me, would you like to see them roll with the rookie and Nick Martin? Back now to potential trades, San Francisco may also decide to move off one of their safeties. So far it seems like Saleh is pretty fond of the younger players in Siegel, Brown, and Mustafa, but Pinnock has really fallen out of favor. In this most recent Texans game, for example, he only played a total of 4 snaps, meaning it would be wise for Lynch to move off of him, especially if they're able to acquire, let's say, a 6th-round pick from the Bills, and then they're able to use that pick to pick up a defensive end, let's say Key, who's able to contribute this year. But even if San Francisco doesn't make that move specifically, it does seem likely Lynch will be looking for a defensive end to help out a unit that has been absolutely decimated by injuries. But ultimately, these are just some of my thoughts about San Francisco's likely trades they will be pursuing as the trade deadline approaches, and I want to hear your thoughts about the potential trades floated in this video. Which one is your favorite? Which one do you think is most likely? And do you think San Francisco will make a trade like I do? Personally, I hope San Francisco is looking to trade for a player like Johnson or Phillips, but if they're not able to trade for one of those players, it does seem likely Lynch will be targeting a player like Key, who he's familiar with and kind of knows what he's getting. But let me know your thoughts, and it would also mean a ton to me if you did enjoy this video. If you could go ahead and like and subscribe, it truly helps out the channel a ton, and as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.